to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hey guys, Dr. Dave here for the Streams of Income podcast. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much for joining us. And what I want to talk about today, it's a new income source that I came across. And I'm actually, if you are watching, if you're listening to the audio version of this, thanks for being here. But you may also want to check out the video version on YouTube, because I'm doing a screen share of this new income stream that I'm checking out for the first time. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually talk my way through this. And as I sign up, as I list my place on this site, and we'll see what happens. It may not work. They may not be available in my area. I really don't know. And so before I go any further, what I'm talking about today is Hourplace. And it's Hour spelled Hourplace. And the website is hourplace.com. This popped up in my Instagram feed, like so many things pop up these days as an ad in my Instagram feed. And man, it seems like we're getting inundated with those here lately, but every now and then something cool pops up. So I thought I would check this out and list it. Now, if you want some help with this, once you list in your own place, even if it doesn't work for me, it may be available in some larger areas. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and scan down the website here, and we're going to look at the main website before I start signing in. But like I was saying, if you want some personalized help with this, most of that I do. I mean, you can always hire me for coaching, that kind of thing. But the community inside Passive Income Engines, I'll tell you more at the end of the podcast about passive income engines. But that's kind of where I make myself available to the community, and we all help each other with all these different streams of income. Chances are, if you're in a stream, there are other people in there that are also in that stream, and you can take part in their knowledge, take part in what they're doing as well. And so let's scan down the website here. All right, so at the top, we obviously see list your space and sign in. I'll be clicking that in just a second. And let's see, we've got different places here. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because within Pi, we have different tabs, passive income engines being Pi. Within Pi, we have tabs for different ways to make income. One of the ways that I really enjoy is making money off of your own land. In other words, making money in real estate, but it's not, having single family homes, doing Airbnbs. Well, it can be, but it's not so much traditional real estate. It's making money off your land. And so that's what I'm wanting to do with this, is maybe find some new ways to make money off my land. If you've been with me for any amount of time here or on any of my other feeds, you know that I own about 5 acres where I'm at, a small farm, 5-acre farm. And my parents own another 5 acres beside me. In addition to that, there's some other land around us that we have access to or can use for different purposes, like nighttime scary hikes, looking for skinwalkers. Man, the people that stay at my Hipcamp love those. I take them out at night. I take my Aztec death whistle with me. And if you've never heard one of those, matter of fact, it's upstairs. I won't go get it now because that'll get my kids all riled up. But I'll blow that sometime on here, and you get to listen to it. But we'll take that out into the woods about midnight. I take hikers out there that are staying here at the farm, and I'll blow that thing, and all the animals stop making noise. All the crickets and bugs and everything else stop making noise, and it gets eerily quiet. And then every now and then you might hear some coyotes nearby whooping it up when they hear it. And so it gets really spooky. It's a lot of fun, so much fun. But I digress. So what I'm thinking about is, we're doing a couple of streams of income here on the farm using the land. But I'm looking at this website here and so many other ideas that I'm seeing here. Photo video studio. I mean, people that might want to do a photo shoot here on the land. I shoot a lot of UGC commercials here in the office, and also I advertise, farm style UGCs, like out in the yard, out in the woods, me hanging from trees, in the barn, that kind of thing. But other people could hire me on Hourplace and pay me an hourly fee and use my yard, my haunted barn, anything like that. Let's see, you can rent a house, apartment and loft, a mansion, production set, and so you can rent these for anything. Photo shoots, somebody that maybe wants to do a writer's retreat, a movie that wants to film and they're looking for a certain kind of place. Recording studio, wouldn't that be awesome? If I remember correctly, in the movie, was it Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie about Queen, the newer one, where they had actually rented a basically a farm as a recording studio for one of their albums. And I've heard of other bands doing that. That's pretty amazing. You could also rent out warehouse space, and that's pretty cool too, because my dad has a big warehouse that I might be able to list on here. And then we go down, let's see, be a part of the creators community. So if you're a creator, we help you find spaces. If you're a space owner, we will help you find the creators. This is pretty awesome. I like it. So I'm really intrigued by what this is. I'm just gonna, yeah, these are hyperlinks. I'm just gonna click on one of these. Let's go with Dance Studio, because some of these could be fairly normal, but Dance Studio seems like it could be fairly specialized. And let's see what pops up. All right, so we've got here, oh, that's neat, an eclectic barbershop in Atlanta, Georgia for $300 an hour. In other words, rent it out after hours. You're not kicking all the people getting haircuts and all that kind of stuff out. People could rent it after hours for a movie shoot or, oh man, you know what? A music video. Music videos could rent these places and it would be amazing. There's an empty creative studio space in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I used to live there. I know that place well. We've got a big stage, a big theater stage, $175 an hour in New Jersey. An affordable studio and event space. Let's see, industrial multimedia event space. Here's a Hilltop Church. I didn't even think about that. I mean, maybe or maybe not, this church is still in operation as a church, but it's a huge pet peeve of mine that most churches, like 99.9% of churches, are the most underutilized, wasted space, wasted real estate in the world. Mainly being because the average church is only used maybe 10 hours a week. I find that especially smaller churches, your mega churches are different because they are staffed full time and pretty much have things going on all the time. But your average small church, medium-sized church, even a fairly large one that's not a mega church, unless they host a school or a daycare of some kind, they are empty most of the week. And to be honest with you, most of the ones I've come across, and I used to work as a pastor and an associate pastor at different ones. The office for the pastor and the staff a lot of times aren't even in these buildings. And so during the week, there's nobody there. And look, right there in Kansas City, Kansas, a Hilltop Church, $150 an hour. Now, I don't know of anything in the Bible that says, you can't let people use the church for anything else but Sunday church service. Now, understandably, there are things I would not rent out my church for if I had one. Rap music videos, heavy metal videos, because not without at least going through and, checking things out a little better. But if somebody wanted to rent a church for a decent photo shoot, maybe even reshooting their wedding photos, I mean, there's so many things that you could rent a church out for. That's pretty cool. Modern sunny studio space. It's actually looks like a dance studio there in the middle, a dream loft. And so there's a banquet hall, two-story nightclub, $400 an hour in LA. That sounds incredibly cheap for what that is. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty amazed. I could sit here all day and just look at this part of the website and just kind of nerd out on what I could do with these spaces. But you're not here for that. I will let you do that on your own time. For now, though, let's go ahead and list my space. And what I'm going to do is if I get to any spots where I have to upload things, I'll just pause the recording and go find whatever I need to in my files and then come back. Because I'm pretty sure at some point I'm going to have to upload some pictures and stuff when I list my space. So let's go to list your space. Share your space with content creators. Start listing. All right. And so I have already created an account, and that way I don't have to show you my password, all that. My email is there, though, drdave@redteamgoals.com. If you ever want to email me about something, you're more than welcome to. And that's my email. So let's just go ahead and sign in. All right. Now I am signed in. You can tell I haven't done my profile photo or anything like that yet. So let's just go ahead and go straight to start listing. Now that I think about it, guys, what do I want to list my farm for? Um, Man, I guess we'll get down here and we'll see what the options are. All right, so go ahead and put my address in there. And let's see. And if you're watching the video and you've seen my address, just be careful if you come visit unannounced. It is a farm. I do have a lot of redneck neighbors. And so, strangers are not always welcome. So just call ahead if you want to come visit. That's all I'll say. All right. So what type of space will creators have? Oh, I can choose up to 3. That is awesome. Okay. So I am not offering a photo video studio. My house, I'm not offering an apartment or loft. No, definitely not a mansion. This is an old farmhouse. Definitely not a mansion. I'm going to list it as, let's see, man. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and list it for photo studio just in case I can list it like for the outside, for the photo shots. Production set. I don't think any of this other stuff would work. So limited options here for me. All right, share some basics about your place. All right, interesting. All right, so how big is your space? Oof. I'm just going to go with 3,000 square feet because that would include the house and the barns, that kind of thing. How many cars can fit? I got tons of parking here. I can put 20 cars in. More details about the parking options. Parking available on the, let's go on the marked grassy areas. I don't want them. That's a big pet peeve of mine too. You know, people parking on my front yard. I've had guests come to my house and park on my front yard. Let me just say, you don't ever park on a man's front yard without permission. Parking available on the marked grassy areas. That's good. That's good for that. All right, so let's see. Add photos of your space. I told you I was going to get here. I knew it. I knew I was going to get here. So now you're going to listen to me talk because all of a sudden I can't see where the pause record. There we go. Pause recording. You know, you can tell I do this all the time. So let's go ahead and pause that for a second. All right, guys, so I am back. I hopped over to the desktop where all my files are and grabbed some photos. So let's upload at least 3 photos. I think I have about half a dozen. And when you see these photos, you're going to say, what kind of place is this that Dr. Dave lives? Well, it's an old farmhouse, and we bought it, and we're slowly remodeling and tearing things down and that kind of thing. You know, let's just select a bunch of it. We'll see if we can rearrange these. Well, okay, I think it's only going to let me open one at a time. Yeah, there we go. Maybe after the first one, it'll let me upload more than one at a time. So that being the primary photo, I guess. Now let's just select all these guys right here. See if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. So it wouldn't let me select more than one at a time at first. Yeah, so you see these photos, you say like, what is this? Dr. Dave lives in a garbage pit. The first photo there is the house. Like I say, it's an old farmhouse. We're slowly remodeling, or actually we're not even remodeling. We are basically just keeping this thing livable. And at some point we're going to tear it down. We're going to bulldoze that sucker and build a new house. And I'll tell you why. There are so many things here that are unfixable without spending 10 times the amount it would cost to fix in a normal house. For instance, electrical. Anytime we try to do anything electrical here, we basically have to put in new electrical. You can't fix the old stuff because the way the old guy did it. Matter of fact, interesting thing to note, and you can see more about this on the Hipcamp website if you want to, but right over there, the guy that built this house was murdered by his son right here in my basement. And so that's an interesting thing, kind of plays into the haunted barn aspect. The second picture there is my Hipcamp site in the barn patio. And then we've got, that's the guest parking. On the next picture there, you can see right above the big barn, there's the entrance to the property. And that's the old barn. It looks nasty from the outside, horrible from the outside. And inside though, actually got a really nice little gym set up where me and the kids will throw some iron around and sling some kettlebells and all the fun stuff that all moms and dads should do with their kids. Slinging iron and throwing kettlebells. Or was it throwing iron and slinging kettlebells? Well, you get the idea. So let's upload some more pictures here. I'll tell you what they are for those of you that are listening to the audio. And I was just waiting for those pictures to upload. Now, you might wonder, Dave, why are these pictures taking so long to upload onto this site? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I'm on rural Wi-Fi. It's a little difficult sometimes, but I run rural Wi-Fi because I am so far off the beaten path that broadband doesn't make it out here. There is no broadband in this area. If I could go to the main road and string some wire, a couple miles, yeah, I could have broadband. But we're on rural Wi-Fi. There's the rabbit pen, and that's the other side of the rabbit pen. There's a little foggy view of my front yard. And so I'm uploading these pictures just to give this a try. That's a duplicate of my front house. Just to give it a try. And that's the gym right there. That's the iron barn. Inside that nasty old barn, we've got it nice, cleaned up, some rugs and stuff down, and a squat rack and all that. But what was I saying? You guys distracted me. What was I saying? Oh, these pictures that I am uploading to hourplace.com. They're representative of the place here in case somebody's wanting a photo shoot with something particular, maybe an old looking barn, an old farmhouse. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I could see a country music video being done in my front yard. It would be amazing. And so you just never know what somebody's looking for. So I'm saying that to say this is that you might think my place is not very good. Why would somebody want to pay money to rent my place by the hour? Or you might be saying that about your place. Why would somebody want to pay good money for this? Well, it's like anything. There is always somebody that's looking for something very particular, and you never know when your place might fit the bill. I was watching, let's see, Hometown on one of those DIY construction shows. Watching that the other day, and they were doing a series where they were basically remodeling the town of Wetumpka, Alabama. And I did not know this, but in Wetumpka, there was a movie filmed called Big Fish. I'm sure quite a few have seen the movie. I saw it, can't recall anything about it. I remember thinking it was decent, but I just don't recall anything about it. But there's an old house there, really old house called the Big Fish House because that's where a lot of the movie was filmed. And so, if you see the house on this DIY show, it is horrible. Like you think to yourself, man, this place should just be burned or run over with a bulldozer and start fresh. But no, they remodeled that thing because it had value. And it had value. One of the big reasons being because this movie had filmed there. And so, wouldn't it be awesome to own a place where they filmed a big movie where your place played a prominent role? One thing that comes to mind is I've not been there, I've not verified this, but I have heard people talk about the cabin at the end of the Avengers Infinity War movie where Tony Stark lived. The one where they kind of had the little funeral for Tony Stark at the end of the movie. You know what? I just now thought, if you've not seen that movie, I'm sorry, he dies. But at the end of the movie, there's this cabin where Tony Stark had been living, is now an Airbnb. I've not, like I say, I've not verified that, but could you imagine the price you could command to let people stay in the cabin it played such a prominent role in such a huge movie? That's just pretty awesome to me. All right, so let's hit the next button here. We're uploading our photos. It may take a second or it may take 30 minutes. I'll just fill the space with time. If this was an interview, I would put the pressure on the interviewee and say, well, just ask a cool question and something that makes them think. And but no, I don't have anybody on right now, so I'm having to fill the space with my own words. So what should I talk about? Let's see, on the farm here, streams of income. So naturally, we've got some farm stuff. And we don't grow a lot of big crops or anything. So we're kind of doing what you call the value added. Small crops, add some value to it, and you can command better prices. And so one of the things we sell is rabbit poop. Yep, rabbit poop. I sell it on Etsy and in a few stores locally. Rabbit poop is an amazing fertilizer. And now that I've said the word poop so many times, I realized, there's probably a better word for that. I don't think feces is the correct word. Maybe manure, rabbit manure. But we sell that. Oh, look, I can't tell you more about it. This next screen popped up. Let's give your space a title. Let's just go with haunted. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Haunted farmhouse. Is farmhouse one word or two? We're going to go with one. Haunted farmhouse in Barnes. Yeah. Add descriptions about your place. All right, so let's see here. We own a small 10-acre farm near Liberty South Carolina. We have the farmhouse, a huge, how do I want to describe that? Because our front yard is basically a sloping hill, a huge sloping pasture yard. Yeah, I don't just want to say yard. I mean, pasture yard. That sounds, it evokes images of cows and stuff, even though we don't have cows. The farm, usually pasture yard, several wooded areas. Let's raise the screen up some so I can see what I'm typing. Several wooded areas and a few barn structures. Let's see, we would love to host your event, photo shoot, or movie production. I want to put this into people's minds. The few movies I have been in, I filmed in one movie. I played an extra in Allegiant, and it was filmed in Atlanta at an art museum. And so, the art museum doubled as the headquarters for the place we were defending. And so another movie I actually filmed at, a zombie movie called Last of Our Days. I played the main bad guy, the main antagonist, and it was filmed in this just open wooded lot behind a construction warehouse. And so, like I say, you never know. You never know. We would love to host your event, photo shoot, or movie production. Add tags to your 30 tags. You can do up to 30 tags. That's amazing. Most things like Kindle books, books on Amazon, Fiverr gigs, things like that, you are very limited on your tags. I think Etsy even, it's maybe 30 tags. I'm gonna have trouble thinking of these. Let's see. Okay, so let's go with farm, haunted. Oh, I misspelled haunted again. Fat fingers here. Haunted. Let's go with barn. Let's do farmhouse, rural. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. They got me. They got me good. It's not 30 tags, it's 30 characters. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the commas. I'm going to get rid of the commas. Can't get rid of the spaces because it would all seem like one word. All right, guys, what do y'all think? What can I do for two letters? Oh, okay. I'm going to get rid of farmhouse and just do house. And let's go. I got 5 letters. Woods. Perfect. Boom. All right. So if you're listening to the audio, let me read you the tags that I listed for mine. And so you're going to want to sit down and think of this because, like, how can you maximize the tags you put in there for the 30 characters available? I put in farm, haunted, barn, house, and woods. And that pretty much sums up everything I've got here. And so let's hit add, and it has been added. A links about your space. Boom. Let's see. All right. I'm going to pause the recording again and find some links and stuff I want to put in there. All right, guys, welcome back again. Of course, you never went anywhere. I just paused the recording. And so what I did, I wasn't sure where I was going to find all these links. And so I didn't want to waste your time while I was looking these up. And so if you're on the audio, let me tell you what links I put in here. Links about your space. And so at the top, I put 3 links in here. The first one is the sales page that I created for my Hipcamp site. And it details all the haunted aspects of my farm, why you should stay here and scare yourself to death. It also talks about the legend that is what makes my farm haunted, the legend that grew up about this place. It's not just stuff I've made up. It's got stuff to do with the murder site over in my basement over here, right beside my bed. It talks about the weird fungus that affects people strangely in this area. And so that's the sales page from a Hipcamp site. The next link that I put in there is actually the hipcamp.com listing for my Hipcamp site. So it basically tells the same stuff, not as much detail that's on my sales page because they only let you do so much. But I just figured, I'm going to throw another link in there. And that way, if somebody pops on there, and even if they don't want to rent my farm on Hourplace, they may see the Hipcamp site and say, you know what, I'd like to stay there. This sounds cool. I want to stay there and not get a good night's sleep because I'm scared to death. And that would be fun for everyone. And so they may want to do that, or they may just want to stay here a couple nights and check it out and see if they want to pay more money to rent it by the hour. And then the third one on there is the YouTube playlist link for videos about my farm. I do a ton of YouTube videos about lifestyle things, about me and the kids, us mountain biking, us growing things, me accidentally growing an entire crop of pumpkins because I thought we were planting watermelons and the seeds were mislabeled. Lesson there if you're a farmer or just grow things, label your seeds correctly. Now we recovered from that. We cooked up all the pumpkins and got all kinds of pumpkin goodies in the freezer, and so that's pretty cool. But that's the links I listed, and so let's hit save and next and see where it takes us. Oh, finally, set your own rules. What is the hourly rate for using your space? How much do I want to charge, guys? How much? My Hipcamp site to get some summer traffic because who wants to stay in a tent when it's 300 degrees outside and 4,000% humidity like it is here in South Carolina? And so my Hipcamp in the spring and not the spring, but in the summer when it's hot is only 35 bucks a night. Hourly rate though for using the space, that means I could have a lot of people here, a lot of cars, a lot of mess. I may have to go out there and pick up trash, direct traffic, all kinds of things like that. So I'm just going to go with 250 and see what happens. $250 an hour. Your guest has to book at least how many hours? Oh, okay. So I can say 8 hour minimum, that kind of thing. Let's just go two. If we do it really big, it's not going to get many people, but let's just say 2 hours, 250 bucks an hour. So 500 bucks each time. How many people are allowed at your space? I'm going to say there's not going to be a fire marshal out here because guess what? Well, I mean, I guess there could be at some point, but I bought land. I was so happy when I saw this on the property maps. And those of you that are into property and real estate, you realize how nice this is. The zoning for where I live is not residential. It's not single family residential. It's not multifamily. It's not anything like that. The zoning where I lived literally says unzoned. There is zero zoning where I live. I could build a new house. I could start a business. I could build storage buildings. I could open up a mobile home park here if I wanted to, and nobody could stop me. I guess somebody could, but they better not because it's unzoned. Don't mess with me. So, how many people? Oh man, I'm just gonna say, let's say 40. I don't know. We've we've probably had that many people here at one time. Add details about what guests cannot. All right, so can and cannot do. I don't want them inside the house. I'm just gonna say no use of the interior of the house. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put here, don't bother my kids. They bite. Yeah. I mean, that's a nice way of saying there's going to be kids here. Don't mess with them. And actually, my kids might bite. That's true. Let's see here. Any other rules, you guys? Any details about what guests can and cannot do? No, let's just go with no smoking. And, everything else. And let's see. I'm just going to put something along the lines of please let me know beforehand what you need it for so I can approve it. And on the audio, for those of my folks here that are only listening to the audio, let me apologize for all this typing. You will hear this on a few of the podcasts just because we're working on doing something active here, but you're probably hearing all the clickety clack as I type with these two fingers. All right, please let me know beforehand what you need it for so I can accommodate your needs if possible. And that way, hopefully that works on Fiverr. On Fiverr, you can list all kinds of rules and packages and things like that. But if you're doing Fiverr or you want to, a little tip for you is tell people just to send a custom request. And a lot of times I will actually give people cheaper prices than my regular packages because I either want the product that I'm doing a video for or, I want to do the video for some reason, for resume value, whatever. But kind of like this right here, just ask people to get in touch. All right, save and next. Let's get started. Update your contact info. Creators would like to reach you. Let's see. All right, I do not have to do a cell phone. I think I will though. Let's see. Let's see here.
Hey,
So here we are again. I had paused that because I wasn't sure which phone number I wanted to list, and I had to check with someone. And so I listed my phone number, I listed my website, and it's that easy. Hourplace.com. I'm already looking at my listings. And so basically, the job here is done for everything I wanted to show you. I've got a haunted farmhouse in Barnes, Liberty, South Carolina, $250 an hour. And so it's in review right now. So that's just to check and make sure it'll work. Maybe they'll offer some ideas. Our Place, as far as I know, they're kind of new. I didn't check that out, but I've not heard of them before, so they can't be too big. And so they're kind of new, so they're probably reviewing these to maybe offer some hints, some things that might increase traffic. They might let me know some things that people ask about, some things people look for that I can change. And you see here, I could always go in right there and edit. I could delete it. I could add more listings. Here's a great tip is you could use this as a form of arbitrage if you wanted to. Let's say you have a friend that has a warehouse. You know what? As a matter of fact, when we get done here, I am going to go in here and list portions of my dad's warehouse in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He has a big construction warehouse. I know he's got big sections of it that are, they're walled off, have their own exterior doors, things like that. Excuse me, that he could rent and people could store things there for stock. They could film music videos there, I mean, whatever. And so that's pretty cool. Excuse me. All right, so up here you can see I've not done much to my profile. I'll do that later. You don't need to see it here while I upload my picture and my bio, all that fun stuff. And so I am so thankful that you have joined me for this episode of Streams of Income. We have listed my haunted farmhouse on Our Place, and once again, that website, and it'll be in the show notes and everything too. But it's Our Place, HOURPLACE.com. And I tell you what, now that I've listed a place, I may actually try to get in touch with some people at the company itself and see if I can get them on here for an interview, and maybe we can talk about what makes things popular, the most popular listings, like what really makes them pop and what kind of money these people are making. It'd be cool to get some of the people that have big listings on here as well. So that would be pretty awesome. So thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time, or you will hear me next time, however that works out. But I just want to thank you so much for joining us. And this is Dr. Dave closing out at Rugged Dad. So every now and then at the end of the podcast, I like to tell you a little more about one of my side hustles, not just so that you're going to take advantage of it and send me money or something, although that is pretty cool. It helps afford my coffee budget. But I want you to be exposed to everything. And so if you come across something I'm doing as a side hustle or passive income or whatever, and you're interested in it, you're more than welcome to fire off some questions, send me a DM, send me an email, whatever. My contact info is in the show notes, or you can find me through the website. So the one I want to focus on today is Hipcamp. I own a small farm here in upstate South Carolina, and we have 2 Hipcamp sites. Basically, I have an old haunted barn, and we converted 2 different sections of the haunted barn to a Hipcamp site. If you're not familiar with Hipcamp, it's basically Airbnb for tent sites. And so, of course, you're more than welcome to stay in my haunted barn. Pay a little extra. I'll take you out for a nighttime spooky hike, and we'll search out some skinwalkers. Or you can just check out Hipcamp. There's a link below for that, too, if you want to sign up as a site. Or if you're interested in finding some cool camping spots, that's where you need to go. Hipcamp.com. It's one of my, I wouldn't say one of my most lucrative side hustles, but it's got to be one of the most fun ones.